Maybe.
Kinda looks like Mr. Owen, but I can't tell yet. Oh no, that's not Mr. Owen. It has special sails on it.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. We have a ship coming in that has unusual sails. Who is that?
Ooh.
Oh yes, who is it?
I don't know.
Could it be the Navy?
Could be. I don't think I've seen this ship before. May have to pull alongside the docks. It's
See ya, lad.
longer here. You're welcome to park long ways beside the dock if you need.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, ma'am. How are you? I'm Ensign Hendricks, His Majesty's Royal Navy. How are you?
Hi. Doing well, thank you.
Well, very good. We've got a couple maps to do on the island, if that's all right. But we were also going to stop and see if you had any kind of resupply we could buy off you.
Sure, that's fine. You may want to park alongside along this dock. The anchor here is very strange. I'm sorry.
That's perfectly fine. We'll get it sorted out. Give us just a second.
Right.
Oh no, they're going to spin it around and around. Wow, look at that ship. It can do 365 in less than a second.
Goodness. They're just testing the crew, see if they fall overboard. It's a naval test, I'm sure.
Surely no one gets sick when it goes round and round in a circle.
How's that?
They're just seeing if anyone falls over.
Did Keys not give it back to you?
They need an elderly rail on board or anything.
The fuck?
Ah, perfect. They founded one.
Yeah.
They're here for
All right,
some
crew, free to disembark.
treasure maps.
Hi.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, hello. Apologies for the disturbance. We were checking to see if we got a couple things that we need to have restocked. We're going to see if you had maybe a few cannonballs we could purchase off you. And then we also have a couple maps on the island to do, if that'd be all right.
Do you purchase large cannonballs? I know we have some of those.
Oh, I just need the medium ones for this ship.
I don't.
Got a crate here that I just pulled in earlier.
The icebox Ensign Hicks.
I'm not sure if you're interested in that.
Yeah, we can check it out. Actually, before I open this, how much would you like for that crate?
I don't even know what the value of it is. I found it in a box along with one of your tattered sails, it looks like.
Oh no, not another sail.
There you go. There's 10 silver for it.
Ooh.
Oh.
Edson.
All right, and then also, do you have an icebox by chance that you could sell?
No.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
Ensign Hendricks. We are also out of ingots.
Okay. Do you have any alloy ingots?
I don't know. Do you have any to spare, Elias?
Not sure.
If
I'll
that's
have to
perfectly fine.
check.
Well, there's actually there's a map that we have to do right in that direction. I can see the beam from here, so we're gonna go do that real quick and
Sure.
give you guys some time to look and see if you have any ingots. If not, it's perfectly fine. But we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Right, you're welcome to take to the shows, and the Oddities Museum is that direction, but it should be far enough off the shore.
Well, very good. appreciate the hospitality. We'll be out of your hair shortly.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Very good. All right, crew, this way.
Eyes up.
Ensign Hex, would you like?
Welcome to the stream.
They all had white hair, Edgar.
Did they?
Almost.
Or were they wearing powdered wigs?
Maybe, I don't know. They could have experienced that weird thing that the shimmer figure does where it steals your youth. They could have had their youth taken.
Maybe.
I'd conjecture someone at the museum said maybe that the shimmer figure takes the youth from one person so that they can give it to a different person. Just keeps moving around.
Yeah.
It is a nice ship. It has some areas there that are not painted. I wonder if it had some damages recently.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe that's what's in fashion right now.
We got some alloy ingots if they need some.
Alright?
How much is it going to put us out?
Well, we've got some copper made and we've got 2010.
Ugh.
So we can spare it
Okay.
if they want the 10.
Okay.
What's a good pricing for ingots? I don't know. Are they going to ask what we want for them?
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
think. What?
well, we'll have to charge extra since we on an island with no metal.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, and the thing about it is, we don't know. I didn't pay close enough attention to what pricing they have at the airport as well. I don't know what they charge the public for things like ingots. I didn't see where they went. They said that it was that direction. Oh, I see them. They're moving around in the woods over there. Should be fine.
I'm glad they're getting rid of the spookiness of the woods for us so we don't have to worry about it.
We did hide out treasure over there the whole time and we didn't know it was there. We even have a shovel and everything. We could have been digging all this time. Oh well. Just need a shovel to dig up a treasure. That's all you should need. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a lot of shovels. You think it was something really big.
Yeah.
They even kind of dress alike.
Dress alike, they walk alike.
And they run alike, yes.
Are they clockworks?
I hope they're not clockworks. I haven't asked.
Could be.
Have I said anything?
No.
No.
All right, Spanish have been cleared from that part. There's another one that's on like the far end of the island over there that we'll do here in a bit. But in the meantime, my crew is actually really interested in that Oddities Museum. Is it open right now?
We can be open if you would like a tour.
I think we would love that. They're dropping a few things off on the ship right now, and then we can head that way if you'd like.
Alright, yeah, that should be fine.
Fantastic.
We've got some ingots to spare if you want 'em.
Perfect. Now, how much would you like for it?
How many do you want?
About 100 would be great if you have it, or if not, as many as you can offer without putting yourselves back.
I'll go fetch 'em if you and Boggert want to work something out.
All right.
Yeah, we live on an island with no metal, so it's a little bit of a struggle. So, and we know it's a struggle with the Navy. So, just whatever you feel is reasonable.
Here you go, Ensign. I wish I.
Yes, that seems reasonable.
I have sugar cookies on me.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate the help, and yeah, once he gets back with the ingots, we'll get those on, and everything will be good. There's some cookies for you as well.
Do I have to share with my sister?
I think I'm going to leave that up between you and your sister.
There you go, Kip. Yep. Oh, here, they can have this too.
And there's some spice prawns as well.
Goodness. Well, thank you very much.
You're mighty too kind.
Pleasure.
If you'll give us a second, I'll go turn on the candles inside the museum.
Yes.
Not a problem. Take your time.
You give me just a moment. I'm going to get myself ready as well. And then we'll
Alright.
do a tour here in just a moment.
Very good.
Yeah.
Already checked on her. She's good. I forgot to stock the food, but that looks okay for right now. Probably need to put some more meat and fish out. Back up. popcorn's good on that side.
Welcome to the BoggOdd Oddities Museum. Someone will be with you shortly.
Thank you, Elias.
You're welcome.
Fine. Congratulations.
Oh, I've got to go get the bucket.
I like your coats. There's 7 or 8 of us live.
I'm glad I remembered the bucket. It's way over here. Forgot to put it back in the museum because I sold out. Didn't want pirates to steal my only bucket. Okay. Bucket. While I'm here, I need to take... I like to get these off my... There we go. Okay. I like to get my vitamins all situated before a tour because it turns out to be bad if you don't.
Very nice.
They may have put a flyer up at the Navy, but I'm not
Watch out.
sure.
Excuse me?
They went to the free ports to do
Person
it.
move.
Look out, look out. He's trying to come through.
Coming through. Thank you.
Apologies.
Welcome everyone. So glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, hello everyone.
Hello.
Are you ready?
Hello there.
Hello. Are you ready to begin the tour?
I am indeed.
Leave your preconceived notions of the normal world at this very threshold, and enter the world of the mysterious, the unusual, and the odd at BoggOdd Oddities Museum. By entering the museum, you agree management not responsible for any and all incidents herein, including but not limited to tripping, falling, pushing, plunging, and the like.
Understood.
Please step lively into the next chamber.
The tour begins on your right, just as you enter the museum.
I'm going to leave the door unlocked in case of an emergency.
Someone behind you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's alright. I was in my head for a moment.
What is it? Some kind of cheese cat.
Where does everyone inside? We'll begin.
I
At a
worship.
blazing... Alright, at a blazing hot tropical freeport, there stood a quiet specialty cheese shop at the end of an alley. You're probably questioning, is it appropriate to locate a cheese shop in the melting heat? The answer, no. Not because of the heat, however. It was the feral cats. The cats had taken begging at the cheese shop, and as patrons were leaving, they would kindly drop a crumb or two, leading the cats to wait for the next patron. Eventually, the roof support beams groaned and popped under the weight of waiting cats. The shop owner attempted to shoo them away at first, but then realized the cats would not touch the crumbs of the most pungent cheeses. The patron remarked, "It's so hot today, the stone walls are almost sizzling." As the patron rounded the corner, the shop owner sprang into action and, gathering those most pungent cheeses, pressed them into the very hot stone wall, where they melted, sticking them onto the stonework. It did work. To the cats, the stench of the cheese was so intense that they fled to the far side of the island. The shop owner rested well that evening. Suddenly, though, the roof supports began to creak and groan. Running out into the dark to chase the cats off the bowing roof, the shop owner caught a glimpse of them in the moonlight. The cats first turned their eyes, and then their beaks, toward the shop owner. It is then the shop owner realized that the roof was covered not in cats, but in starving, hungry vultures.
The walls are from the original building. If anybody like to sniff the walls for the pungent cheese.
You're welcome.
Go ahead and start sniffing.
Go ahead, Pip.
Do we have to scratch first?
No, that's not scratching. You can scratch yourself if you like.
It's delicious.
Ooh, jeez.
Is that Gouda?
Oh,
Holy shit, what is that? It smells like Gouda.
The door continues here beside me. The Great Northern Factory disaster took place on a particularly cold, dark, rainy evening. The main source of heat in the frozen north was a giant fireplace located below this smokestack here just above me. The factory backed up to a large rock mountain, and the entrance to a great coal mine was built off of the factory down into the depths of the mountain. The top of the mountain was known as a habitat for an assortment of animals. The employees of the factory found a particularly large snake roasting on the coals late one afternoon and proceeded to prepare it for their dinner pot. It wasn't unusual for someone to bring whatever they had to share, although they couldn't determine who had brought the snake. They made a feast of the snake anyways and went back to work. As the evening grew colder and darker, they placed more and more coal onto the fires. What no one realized is that the snake deliciously roasting on the fire had chased a rather plump sheep from the mountaintop. The snake and the sheep both fell over the edge and landed on top of the smokestack. The snake plunged through, down to the coal's below, but the sheep was wedged in the smokestack high above the factory. The toxic smoke had already weakened most of the workers to the point they could no longer get out. By the time the panic began, all but 3 workers were killed in this tragedy. The death toll was said to be near 458 lives, and it would remain the largest number of people killed by a single sheep for at least 2 more decades.
That is perfect timing of the sheep to bah at that same moment.
Yeah, it's got really nice timing.
It does. Alright, note to self, always make sure we have some kind of protection on our chimney stacks.
Great.
Keep your smokestacks clear, just in case. You never know.
We'll send cadets to clear them.
Hey.
Before you here is a certified giraffe examination chair. It has been placed here as a public service by the Giraffe Handlers Association. When a giraffe needs to be examined for multiple reasons, it is much easier to inspect the giraffe from closer to their height. The doctor will climb up the chair, and the giraffe will be brought closer for inspection purposes. What type of inspections, you may ask? One purpose is to inspect whether they have the giraffe-like teeth or the less common human-like teeth, of course. But a far more common reason, however, is to see if the ears have been laid with spider eggs again, as giraffe ears are known to be the perfect habitat for spider eggs. Laying their eggs deep in the giraffe's warm ear hairs they lie forgotten until the time comes for the hatching. If you have giraffes, tame or wild, near your home, be sure that they are not shaking their heads frequently. This is the first sign that the spider egg laying has occurred. If your giraffes have ears infested with spider eggs, the time will come that they will hatch, and the giraffe's head shaking will deposit hatchlings around and throughout your home.
Burn all giraffes.
That
I was
is
about to say,
horrifying.
Hex, permission to not buy any giraffes at the trade docks.
Indeed, ban all
Granted.
giraffes.
Uh,
Watch for the head
Ugh.
shaking, it's the first sign.
I thought you said burn all giraffes.
Burn
I did.
and ban all giraffes.
Oh, I thought, okay, yeah. Burn
And-
all giraffes.
And if you see a spider off in the distance, you're almost guaranteed that it's already seen you a mile away and started running towards you.
Oh, they can see
Understood.
so far.
Perfect. Kill all spiders.
That was horrifying.
In a far off. Oh, we're ready.
uh-oh, we lost a couple.
No.
Did we?
Is it the sheep?
Hey,
They started going back.
I believe a few of them needed to lay down very quickly.
Oh, all right.
The-
That's fine. If you need a break, it's all right. We know it's overwhelming. Here's the
And-
stories.
And we also
No,
have
we can keep
popcorn
going. I
if
think
you.
a few of them went back to the ship for a second.
It's probably the spiders. We're sorry.
Probably.
We know it's terrible, but we try to let people know. Just, you gotta know the information. It's better to know than not know.
Here are the
Right.
warnings.
Hear the warnings. Hear the warnings. All right, we'll continue. In a far-off kingdom, a rotten king reigned supreme. He was known to frequently decide that he had been slighted and place people in prison to be punished or worse. The king unexpectedly ordered a particularly complicated feast from his chef Arthur in the middle of the night. The chef and the kitchen staff worked frantically, as tired as they were, and they created a culinary masterpiece. The feast was a triumph, and the king later sent word to see if he may speak with the chef. Word arrived early in the morning. The king would be to the kitchens within the hour, and the kitchen staff readied themselves for his visit. The king arrived with his guards and quietly toured the kitchens as he thoroughly inspected many things. Nothing was said, and the king looked at his guards as he approached the exit and nodded. The king's guards proceeded to destroy the kitchens, beating the pots and pans, the kitchen tools. The guards turned to the chef and they said, "The king would like you to know he is displeased with last night's feast. You forgot to serve sea salt instead of salt with his meal." The chef was aghast. He knew he had served sea salt. He had prepared it himself. He only said "I" before he was cut off, told he was removed from the king's staff, and he would be placed in the prisons to await punishment. The king felt assured mistakes would no longer be made in his kitchen. As a test, a few weeks later, he had a new feast prepared for the opening of the knight's tournament, at the end of which a victorious knight stood remaining. The king was so unhappy, he felt slighted again that his favorite knight did not win. So he rushed the entrant with a dagger in his hand. The entrant flicked away the dagger and gave the king what was intended for the entrant. The king now removed from life and power, the entrant made their way to the throne and was seated. The shocked crowd dropped their facade of reverence for the old king and warmly greeted a new powerful leader. The guards, also shocked, but no longer hiding their contempt for a rotten king, said, "All hail the new king," to which the entrant removed their helmet and said, "Queen." "All hail the new queen," said the gods. "What would you have us do, your majesty?" they asked. "Firstly, Bring me Arthur, the chef from the prisons. Arthur approached the new queen, and he quietly asked, Daughter, what has happened? And are those my pots and pans you're wearing? There's time to explain it all, she said. They sent them to me at the blacksmith shop for repairs. They did not know I was your daughter. She smiled pleasantly at her father, and they waved toward the crowd over the tournament field and the cold body of the former king. You always said that your pots and pans would bring us good fortune, father. You just didn't know how right you were.
Hell yeah.
Excellent story.
Especially since I've got most of our mess hall right here. I think they're all very happy with it. Definitely don't fuck with the chefs.
No, absolutely not. And do not beat up their livelihood. The pots and pans are the most important part. Every chef has their favorites. They're
Seriously, use sea salt instead of regular salt.
Yeah, that's right. Especially if you're asked to.
As we proceed into the next chamber, everything is under control. If there's an emergency, we will show you to the nearest exit.
Do not worry. It's only fire that looks like fire. It's fine. Everything's all right. On a roasting hot desert island, it rarely rained. House fires were happening frequently. To help combat those fires, the residents used what they had to craft 2 fire carts. These carts, each pulled by the best rhinosaur the island could breed, were filled with water and pulled from location to location. Raspberry the monkey, found wandering an island used as a turtle habitat, was a pet of the head of the fire cart haulers. Out on one of their first patrols, they discovered something unusual. Raspberry had previously been trained to pull a cart. They decided that given his constant insistence that he be handed the reins to the cart, Raspberry would be trained to drive the rhinosaur of cart number 2. This worked more than well. Raspberry was already a complete natural at cart handling. He needed no instructions at all. They even crafted a small seat just for him. This allowed the others to focus more on the fires, and months passed, with carts racing fire after fire, Raspberry excitedly guiding the cart all the way. One afternoon, after a particularly difficult morning of fighting a long series of fires, the bell rang out again. It was time to ready the carts, and Raspberry could not be located this time. The head of the cart haulers went to Raspberry's room, found the monkey sleeping in bed. Knowing the poor creature must be exhausted after the morning that they had another member of the fire cart haulers pull the reins instead. They left without poor tired Raspberry and headed off to the fires. Along the way, they spotted an unreported house fire. They slowed cart number 2 to water it before catching back up to cart number 1. While spraying the house, the front door burst open, and a soaking wet Raspberry, extinguished torch in hand, emerged. Not believing Raspberry could be both asleep and at the scene of the fire, his bed was checked. Neatly shaped and arranged was a pair of trousers made to look like a sleeping Raspberry the monkey. Raspberry was wise at a great many things, cart hauling and deception being among his greatest talents. He was returned to the offices of the Turtle Sanctuary, where he was found to retire from his busy life. The fire stopped overnight, and the fire cart haulers were quiet until one afternoon a flare was fired, and a representative of a neighboring island arrived wanting advice on fire carts, for they had been plagued with fires recently. They also needed a small seat in front, as they had the oddest thing, a monkey who knew how to drive a cart.
He's getting around.
Yes, it does. Are there any questions so far about anything?
No, I'm just kind of taken aback by all this. You guys have done an amazing job in here.
Oh, thank you very much. We'll go on to the next exhibit if there's no questions at all.
Please be careful and not fall into the pit. But we're going to the exhibit looks into the tavern.
Management not responsible for any and all incidents herein, including slipping, falling, plunging, and the like.
If any of them fall in, we'll just leave them down there for you.
All right, all right. No, this is not a tavern filled with delicious libations. In fact, if you had been here 50 years ago, you would be dead. It wasn't unusual a long time ago to place additives into your spirits to give them an interesting afternote, be it bitter, sweet, or bittersweet. It was an unusually crowded evening the night before and would be again at a combination inn and tavern. The tavern keep was too busy to go for the ingredients for a top note to add to the drink for the evening. The tavern keep sibling was sent to pick up the rare, delicious, sweet ingredient, Magistine. The herbologist was also out, and in their stead their apprentice was working. The assistant herbologist mistook the requested Magistine for the more common pest remover, maggot stem. Nearly identical in both appearance and flavor, coupled with the unfortunate similarity in name, the switch was made. The maggot stem was delivered to the tavern and used to give the libations their signature smooth sweetness. As is custom with a spirit house attached to overnight accommodations, the drinks poured heavily and quickly. The hallucinations began an hour into the evening, and the vomiting began shortly thereafter. Ingestion of maggots is said to produce hallucinations, such as liquid running down the walls, inanimate objects breathing, skies filled with flying animals, and the mistaking of human form for animal. The chaos of the visions, coupled with the vomiting, began a putrid battle inside the tavern, where all fought for their very lives. Any who made it outside were driven back in by the visions they saw in the sky. Those victors who had survived the vomitous battle were said to have lain unconscious on these very floorboards until their heart slowed to death. Yes, always be wary of what's been added to your libations. Make sure if you go to any of these taverns around, you ask what is in this beverage. What do you use?
Chefs of the mess hall, you don't happen to keep any of that in the mess hall, do you?
Maggot stem.
If we did, they're now in the tavern.
Our next exhibit is straight behind everyone. I'll give the tour from here. I don't want to squeeze through. If you've been to a hot, humid, tropical island, you know all too well the heat can be unrelenting. Two elderly brothers, looking for the lost goat near their home, stumbled upon something unusual. A very large abandoned well. The well had run low on water, but the inside had a beautiful pool at the bottom. The brothers knelt beside the lid to the well, and when they flung it down, they could feel the cool, refreshing air blow past them. They thought about and discussed that well the remainder of the day and night. They woke the next day with a plan. They would put a ladder down the well and see what was inside. They slipped from the final ladder rung out into the cool, dark waters and enjoyed the most luxuriously pleasant soak in neck-high, perfectly chilled water. The water drained a bit more over time, and instead of floating, they had to kneel or sit on the bottom of the well. This did not suit the aging frames very well, and they began to talk of a new plan. It was decided to make the well a bit more comfortable, so they moved some furniture inside, using ropes and the goat, who was finally found in time, to lower some things down from the hatch above. This would be their final plan. Their friend, who knew of the well and having not seen the brothers for some time, began to worry and look for them. When they approached the well, they could already tell something was wrong. The scent of mold and mildew and end of life met the friend before the well. For you see, as they were soaking in the cool, damp richness of the well, their furniture was as well. The introduction of the furniture began a growth of mold and mildew and rot that first tainted the well and then outright poisoned it. As the furniture was slowly mildewing and molding from the outside, the cool, damp, dark back of the chairs was growing a deadly fungus. Before that fungus was discovered, it had already started emitting toxic spores which filled the well and the lungs of the two elderly brothers.
don't we have someone building in the well near the crew barracks?
We do. I believe that would be Cap House.
Yeah, maybe we should talk to them.
Are they putting furniture down there? You have to be really careful.
I think there's candles down there right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough just to end it.
Just be
No,
wary.
Timmy's fine.
I do apologize, ma'am. We may end up having to leave here shortly. We're reaching the end of our patrol schedule, so we may end
Right,
up
I'm
having
sorry.
to... No, you're fine.
But you're always welcome to come back and pick up where you left off. So just remember that and let us know.
Absolutely will. And whoever put all this together did a phenomenal job.
Indeed. This is quite
Yeah,
nice.
this is wonderful. It's simply the best that I've seen.
All right, well, we'll do one more, and then if you want one more, let me know. We'll continue.
Absolutely.
Far beneath a beautiful country estate lie a strange fate for those unfortunate enough to have encountered a pair of mad noble women. They had a secret which would have run the blood cold of those in the aristocratic circles they kept themselves in. The mad women had developed an unusual diet preference. Human toenails. Half-hearted soldier, drunken sailor, or sea wench, they preyed upon them all. They went out into the dark night to round up victims. They would wait outside tavern and dance hall for those inebriated enough not to put up a fight. A bag over their head and about 6 spins around was enough to knock even the stoutest person unconscious when they had been plied with enough drink. They'd be locked into the chambers here on each side of me, their feet scrubbed, cleaned, and the toenails perfectly trimmed, so as not to waste any of the precious resource. I know what you're wondering. Why did they not just pull the toenails out at the root? After all, it is the sensible thing to do. Well, the sisters weren't monsters, you see. They were just hungry, unusually hungry. Each victim awakened dumped on the outskirts of a town, shoeless, sockless, pants rolled to their knees. But their feet were beautifully scrubbed, and their toenails had been perfectly trimmed. The sisters were caught eventually when they mistook a pair of sleepy officers for inebriated and were overcome by them. Threatening to have their toenails pulled out at the root as well, it is a sensible thing to do. The sisters confessed to the entire ruse. Afterwards, they fell from grace and out of high society. They took on new identities and began working in a wash house, trimming the nails of those who came to bathe, thereby continuing to feed their insane and insatiable hunger. We only have to report what we find. We have no choice in the matter. We want the public to know these kind of things.
Now people make pay good money for their toenails clipped.
It's like when you go to, I think it's Port Innocence, they have a person there that sells their bathwater.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pirate girl bathwater.
Yep.
Oh, dear.
All right, well,
That sells Pirate Girl panties. Well, we definitely we thank you for your time. This is phenomenal. I promise we will definitely be coming back at some point soon when we have more time.
There's a flyer outside on the
toenails.
bulletin board. Feel free to take a copy of it.
you can pull the flyer here if you like. There's also one at the Navy Trade Port, and there's one at the Navy Free Port as well.
Well, very good. We appreciate your time on this. You guys have done a phenomenal job here.
Well, thank you very much for stopping in. Come back when you have time.
Absolutely, our pleasure.
This is amazing.
It definitely is. All right,
You make it
let's,
the story with each one is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, we can't wait for you to come back and hear more of the warnings.
Absolutely going to.
Either one.
Ensign Hex, we'll have to bring the Admiral next time.
May have to bring the Admiral himself. I think he'd love to see this.
Oh, yeah.
And safe
Probably get a
sales.
lot of these, but I left. Maybe it's a little oddity in the donation box.
Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Safe sales.
All right, everyone. Let's head out.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
your time.
You guys take care and stay safe.
Stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Goodbye.
Closing the museum. You'll be locked in with these oddities. Anyone left in here? Anyone in here? Anyone? Locking the doors, locking the doors. Okay, no one's here. Oh, I'm in here. Let's grab that. Uh-oh. Put that down, but I...
There you are. They left some silvers in the drop box and a strange, mysterious coin with a spider on it.
Ooh.
I wonder if that has anything to do with those giraffe ears. Get a nice review from them next time. I know they didn't expect to stop here today, so they didn't have as much time as it takes, but that's
Yes.
alright. We'll get to it all in time.
Yes, we just need to offer a simple tour, a medium tour, and a large tour.
We can do a halfway tour, and then we can do a full tour.
Yeah, some type of package. Do you want the A package, B package, or C package?
Do you want to know all the warnings or just some? Do you want to go back out into the world only knowing some of the warnings? You're welcome to.
Exactly.
Ugh, I wouldn't want to know some, though. If I saw that thing sticking out of the wall over there, I would have to know all the stories. I wouldn't want just some of them. But I know how it is. There's time limits.
Okay, I'm gonna go work on some wood. I need to restock the fireplace.
Alright, well, we weren't expecting a tour. I told Elias, thank you for the off time. Get back to things here soon.
Okay. Oh, I missed it. I missed it. Oh, I thought it was a wolf. Oh, it's moving. I was like, oh, is the world standing still again?